Our final example in this first video on marginality will involve a function that we see the derivatives of. So let's have the quantity here, and now I'm going to have dollars per item as our axis, because you guessed it, I'm going to be putting the marginal cost and the marginal revenue on our function. So let's say our marginal revenue does something like this, yeah? And let's have the marginal cost behave in this fashion. Marginal cost. Now, mind you, these are derivatives, yes? And so what we can understand from our previous idea is that our max profit will occur when the derivative of profit, P prime of Q equals 0, but that's going to be where the marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue. So we have max profit here or max profit there. I guess max profit probably isn't correct. We should probably say the critical points of profit. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to apply the first derivative test. To the derivative of the profit function. So right here, P prime of Q, and I'm going to say between this point 0 and our first critical point, I'm going to call that critical point 1, is this a positive or a negative value? And we can see that, sure, P prime is equal to the marginal revenue minus the marginal cost, and the marginal revenue is below the marginal cost. That means the derivative of profit here was negative. What about in the center? Here, P prime of Q, the marginal revenue is greater than the marginal cost, and here it's a positive number. Finally, in this region, P prime of Q, the marginal cost minus the marginal revenue, the marginal cost exceeds that of the marginal revenue, and so we have a negative number again. So what does that tell me about my profits? From 0 to the first critical point, my profits were decreasing, yes? And they hit a minimum value at that point. From here to my second critical point, my profits were increasing, weren't they? Why? The derivative was positive, and we had our second critical point. And then finally, from our second critical point onward, our profits were decreasing again. Yeah? All this tells me is we have a local max at our second critical point, yes? But we also have another local max. And I'm going to let you think for a second. I'm going down, I'm going up, I'm going down again. There's another local max at Q equals 0. And the reason that we have a local max there, I mean, sometimes it's better off to do nothing than to produce extra things, yeah? So here, if all I could produce would be, say, up to that point, I would not even get started because I'm going to lose money the entire time. So our max profits are at 0 in this problem and at CP2. We don't know which one is the global max, but we will talk about how to determine that when we get through Chapter 5.